Thank you so much kepada pendengar DNA Podcast. Kita sekarang berada di episod kedua untuk season kedua. Alhamdulillah, episod yang pertama untuk season kedua ni kita bawa yang lebih versatile, kita punya audience kita, dan hari ini juga kita juga membawa audience yang berlainan dan antarabangsa juga, dan kita berharap kita boleh dapat pelbagai diverse algorithm kita punya listener, kita punya pendengar yang pelbagai. Terima kasih kerana masih memberi sokongan kepada DNA Podcast agar kita semua mendapat ilmu dan manfaat kepada semua masyarakat. Untuk hari ini kita akan bercakap dalam bahasa English full. Macam semalam the first episode tu kita bercakap dalam bahasa Inggeris dan Melayu sedikit, tapi kali ini kita bercakap dalam bahasa English fully kerana kita akan ada international kita punya host co-host ataupun kita punya jemputan pada hari ini. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Milan LaBrey, right?
Yes,
that's your name?
yes, correct.
Okay, Dr. Milan, thank you so much for being part of our DNA podcast.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
All right, thank you so much. How's the journey to come to our studio just now?
It was, I mean, I was in between the raindrops. I didn't have an umbrella, so I had to get a plastic bag. So I looked like a crazy person running through the streets, but it was good. And then the rain stopped and the skies opened, so good sign.
Just let you know, you are the first our international speaker for DNA podcast for our guest.
I
first
feel
time.
honored. Thank you.
And surprisingly, you are from Wisconsin originally.
I was born in Wisconsin.
Which is the first time I went to the US. I was there in Wisconsin when I flew to Minnesota when I was done my first degree. There's a little bit about your origin. So I want to know more about, for our audience who may be meeting you for the first time. Who is Dr. Milan beyond the title, and how would you describe the heart of your work?
What I would describe myself in title as an architect of ethical intelligence. We often talk about emotional intelligence being the thing that we need to thrive for, but we have moved well beyond that. And now the new intelligence that we are going to be sitting on, and that is going to be critical for our evolution, is awareness and awakening.
Right.
And so that is where my work intersects. It takes the work of Daniel Goleman, who I know you are very familiar with, as we both share a psychology background, and it takes it to the next level. Now, to be fair, not a lot of people rooted themselves in the emotional intelligence component, so it's a bit of a jump, but that's where we are, and that's where we're going to have to head to if we're going to navigate this next chapter of the world.
Right.
So, and that's what I do. And who am I? Well, that's a very complex question. Who is anybody?
Simplify.
Who is anybody? This is, I feel like I'm in a Buddhist temple when the little Buddhist monk said, "Who are you?"
Yeah. All right, Dr. Milan. For the next question, we want to know more about you. What was some defining moment of experience that shaped you, calling the empathy, healing, and integrity?
Oh gosh, that's a personal journey for everyone, isn't it? You know, I like to say, I don't know if your audience is familiar, or if you are. Are you familiar with Marie Kondo?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes, Marie Kondo. She always talks about holding everything you own to see what sparks joy, right?
What's choice?
What to keep, what to eliminate. I personally like to Marie Kondo my chaos. So, but I hold it up to see what sparks awareness. And through that process, you know, I've understood a lot about myself. And in the integration of that and my world travels, you know, the struggle is real for everybody. Everyone's trying to figure it out. You know, nobody's different. No one gets out of here alive without having a few hiccups, missteps, and speed bumps. So, but we, again, I'm kind of repeating myself, we're up against a very new chapter in this world. And it's going to take more than just a couple of self-help books and someone screaming into the void saying, you know, aware, awaken,
Right.
you know, whatever people say these days.
Yeah.
So that's where my work comes in.
Right. Before, for the listener, Dr. Milan is an author, educator, speaker, integrative psychotherapist, and also the founder of the Academic of Empathy and Integrity, TAEI.
Tay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Her works focus on the emotional healings, trauma-informed leaderships, and helping individuals transform their relationships with themselves and with others. Also, she has a very powerful global talks, including TEDx message. Right? We're going to talk about that, and has touched thousands of around the world, all the center of empathy, humanity, and sustainable leadership. So before we go deeper on that, Dr. Milan, where the early influence in your life, like mentor or childhood, or experience a personal struggle that taught the importance of human connections?
Well, you know, we just do not have enough time, sir, for that story. So I'm going to do the cliff notes. Again, you know, I think everybody has a story.
Right.
And everybody has an inception point where they didn't get something or they got too much of something, right? And I'm no different. You know, my childhood had its hiccups, and in that space of not learning what authentic connection looked like, I spent a good bit of my life trying to, you know, gravitate to that, but unfortunately in some very unhealthy ways. You know, as you well know, we all have an attachment style. We have, you know, we have our anxious attachments, and we have our avoidance and our ambivalent avoidance and our healthy, you know, like we all come out with something, right? And so just working through my attachment style, understanding my style, what it meant for me and what it can mean, what it means for others, and watching other people's attachment styles, and just really watching myself and how I reacted to my own trauma, how sometimes I still react to my own trauma,
Right.
and how to move past that in the most healthy way. And I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know if I went off on a journey and forgot to tell you I signaled, but you know,
You
that
can be vulnerable here.
Okay, doctor. I didn't realize this was a therapy session. Am I getting billed after this?
No.
This is awesome. No, so it's really about that inception point for me was whatever part of that inner child got stuck.
Right.
You know, that we all care, all of us. There's a point in our evolution where something or someone, you know, and then whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it doesn't matter. And then we kind of land there, right? And then we have to figure out how to almost parent that child through that. And sometimes we don't want to parent that child through that. We want to avoid that child. And so we build up this narrative of who we are. And, you know, we just keep pushing ourselves through the world. And that goes into kind of where we met, even at the work-life balance, you know, how we oftentimes some of these things that we do to cope are overextending ourselves, doing too much, taking on things that don't belong to us, becoming workaholics, you know. So I'm no different is the point. The moral of the story is I'm no different. And so I had my little inception point, and like everybody, I'm just working through it.
Yeah, we met at the work-life balance conference.
Yeah, we did. It was great.
Yeah. That's we met the first time. So I just want just now you mentioned about this is out of script about workaholic, right?
Yes.
Work and alcohol. It's a workaholic, right? So there was addicted.
The addiction.
Addiction. So what your perspective on that?
Oh gosh, this is a go.
Yeah.
As I shared at the conference, I work 29 hours a week.
Oh my God.
That's that. I live on the Netherlands plan. And it's interesting. Someone came up to me after the conference and she said, it was so telling of how our brains just get locked in this loop of we need to be doing something or how do we validate? We're always hustling for our worth, right? Mm-hmm. And she said, what do you do with all that extra free time? And I was like, it was so interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Like she couldn't conceptualize what you would do if you had time. And, and that's that place where we're always negotiating for our worth.
Yep.
If we do more, if we become more, if we give more of ourselves, if we martyr ourselves, if we have more empathy, then we're gonna succeed. And so we end up moving from this space of we are human doings to losing the space of who we truly are, which is the human being. Mm-hmm. We're not here to do, we're here to be.
Right.
And I talk about this in my TED Talk, our sole purpose here is not to build the bank account or get the investments or to work 45 or 50 hours, or it's connection. Right. It's to love and to be loved. We've got one job, and we just keep just wanting to avoid it.
Such a good heart. All right, not many people thinking about that love, right?
Well, we've classified it as being like this. Oh my God, that's just because we think about it as, well, first of all, we love things and we use people. Yep. That's how we've shifted.
Manipulate things.
Yeah, we manipulate things, we use people. Yeah. So love has ended up being on this sliding scale. Like your partner is somewhere between ice cream and that that Maserati that you want. Right? Like. We don't have it quite right. So we really we're really avoiding that intimacy. Mm-hmm. And part of it is because we are so overwhelmed, because we are working so much. We have stopped loving ourselves.
Yep.
And as well as I do, we can't give what we don't have.
Yep.
So it's we're trying to navigate the world from this deficit, always trying to operate from a deficit.
Mm-hmm. So I just touched a little bit about your TEDx as a speaker. The message of powerful and emotional. I watched that a couple of times. And how did your own life journey shape that message? Might be about education in States. I'm not sure about that.
Well, first of all, thank you for supporting my algorithms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taught all over the world.
Yeah.
I've taught in 7 different countries.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're a teacher?
I'm a psychology professor.
Ah.
Yeah, I've been doing
when the last university that you teach?
I still actually teach there. I've always taught online.
Uh-huh.
I was one of the first in that batch of online. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been teaching because I'm not going to age myself on this.
You can be vulnerable here.
No, sir. We will not. But anyway, I've been teaching for a very long time. So I'm a psychology professor. Child psychology is my specialty. Right. Personality theories, social influence, and persuasion are the 3 courses that I typically teach, and then I'm also the course developer for those. Park University, it's in Missouri. May not have heard of it. And anyway, and then I've also been training. I worked for the Seoul Education Training Institute as a teacher trainer, and I've worked around the world as like an English teacher. Like I've done,
Yeah.
been the Jackie of all trades, master of none, I guess. But every time, no matter where I went, it was always the same thing. And these kids are broken. They're tired. They're unhappy. I ask kids now, and I do still work a lot with kids. And always one of the first questions I say, like, how are you? How do you feel? How do you feel? Because we keep giving them this language for everything outside, but we forget to give them the language for what's going on inside. So it's always one of the first questions. And they'll say something like, it's always happy or sad. Like there's no, because they don't really know, they don't even know how to navigate that emotional language, which is so unfortunate.
Right.
And then when they say that, it's always, my follow-up is always, why are you happy? Because I want them to connect that. And the answers that I get are frankly pitiful. I drew a picture. I ran today. Like they don't have this experience of true childhood joy. Digging in mud, playing in puddles, going to the beach, grounding in the grass, whatever kids do. I don't even know what kids do these days, you know? And they're coming to me, as I said in my TED Talk, and I wasn't saying that to be, dramatic. They literally have bags under their eyes. Like there's a whole 20 years from now, there is a whole host of plastic surgeons who are going to be very happy because they are going to have a lot of work. I mean, they look exhausted.
Yep.
And they're sad. And I was talking to a little girl just the other day, and I said, what's wrong, honey? Like, I could just see it on her face. And she said, I got a bad grade. And I was like, okay. And I know it's a cultural thing sometimes, I get that. And I just said, honey, you're going to do better next time, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. Oh, my parents. I can't, what am I going to say to that, So, yeah, we're not giving kids those tools and that opportunity. And to circle, again, took you on a little journey here. I'm seeing a lot of that. And, the education system has been broken for so long. We're teaching the wrong things.
Sorry to interrupt. What do you think the best education system?
The Finland is, the whole Netherlands regions, they're getting it figured out. They have classes that teach children, like specific classes on how to teach children how to treat animals. Like that's fantastic. They have one of the best education systems in the world. They're some of the happiest people. Now, do they have their problems? Yes, obviously. Like nobody, again, we all have our thing. But they're really figuring it out, not just in education, but just as a people. Yeah. While their hours are not 29, that's not the national standard. Like, I think it's like 30, I'd have to look, 32 or 35 mandated hours or something like that. But most people, and maybe even if it's 40, but the average person works 29 hours a week because they want their time.
Yeah.
So, but this starts foundationally. And the thing is that we hijack kids' sovereignty from the jump, because the minute we put them into school, we are training their little neurotransmitters to lock in to say that there is nothing wrong with being busy for 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Or longer. When I was at the Work-Life Balance conference, someone said to me, my little kid is in school longer than I'm at work. And this is a Malaysian mom, so she's working 50 hours a week.
Yep.
So what?
We stop to let our children to play.
Yes.
Yeah, in Malaysia. I'm not sure in other country, but that's what's happening right now. So what's coming back about your TEDx, right? What is actually your life journey to shape that message? What is bring you that?
We need to completely, globally, globally, because it's the same. It doesn't matter. We aren't allowing our children necessarily to play in the United States either.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are, and part of that is a safety thing, right? It's a very unsafe world right now, especially in the United States. The gun violence is insane. So it's a global problem, and it really starts with kind of prioritizing what needs to be the foundation. And what some of the pushback that I've gotten is, you're just like, you're living in this utopian reality. It's like, no, I'm not actually, because I have figured out a way that you can embed values into math and reading and science. Yep. It's the difference between how fast is it going to take for two trains to collide, and just rewording that to how can 20 people collaborate. You can totally get a fraction lesson out of that.
Yep.
We're a community. We have 4 apples. How do we share those? It's a language thing. And when we do that, then we build that, subliminally start to build that language, clarity, cooperation, empathy, compassion, tolerance. But we're not doing that. We just keep sliding the textbook over, handing the Scantron sheet and saying, here, fill it in. Oh, and get a good grade, by the way, or else.
Do you think that education right now, the whole entire world right now, bring our children to be more empathy? As empathy experts?
No, because again, we are teaching children to hustle for their worth.
Meaning that?
We are always teaching children how to negotiate their worth. And when we are constantly pitting kids against each other, when we're making grades the focus, then you're saying that your value, who you are, depends on that grade. I don't know how that teaches empathy. Because the thing is about empathy is just this great concept.
Yep.
But there's something we're missing some major parts with empathy. Because everyone's like, oh, we need more empathy. No. Empathy is a feeling, as you know. It's a feeling that we have. And that triggers something within us, right? Mm-hmm. But empathy unchecked without awareness can hijack your emotional sovereignty.
Right.
Because then you think you need to fix everything, or you need to hold space for someone else's trauma. Mm-hmm. It also keeps you vulnerable to manipulation. Mm-hmm. So there's a thread to empathy. The first thing is empathy. You need empathy, but then you need awareness. So think of it this way. Empathy would be like the Wi-Fi connection. Mm-hmm. It's Wi-Fi. And then awareness is your firewall. Oh. That allows you to decide, okay, I've got this information. What am I going to do with it? And how is this good for me? Then there's a third piece, and that's the integrity component. Integrity is when both of those come together. It's then that alignment with your thoughts, words, and deeds. So empathy by itself is not enough. So we can't just teach empathy. Mm-hmm. And also, as you well know, we can teach values all day long, but unless you are living those and imbibing those values, and that is the foundation of all, including your education system. It's very difficult when the world hits you with the static to stay always to the true north. Mm-hmm. I know I have trouble, so, and I'm not 5. Sometimes. Sometimes I can be 5. But can you imagine? We're adults and we're just like, there's an earthquake, an emotional earthquake, hang in there, but imagine when you don't even know how to regulate your emotions yet, that just feels big. So
just to touch a little bit about the education system, Malaysian education system going to shift to the building character syllabus. So do you think what element beside empathy to put in to build the character of the children in the educations?
I applaud Malaysia for building that into the curriculum. I've actually tried to reach out to your Ministry of Education to talk to them. Side note, no one's gotten back to me. But I think a lot of this stuff, and I'm not going to discredit what is happening, but a lot of this ends up being white paper policy.
Yep.
It looks good, but it does nothing.
Yep.
And I'm going to go out on a limb without having all the facts and say this is probably just another white paper policy.
Yep.
Because if you look at just government policies in general, has nothing to do with Malaysia. But if you look at government policies in general, there's usually not a lot of regulation and support behind them. You know, they do these things because they want to look like, oh, we're so awake and aware. But, oh, okay. You know, people are still burned out. Are you going to change, even if you put SEL into the classroom, are you going to stop putting pressure on kids to have high test scores? Are you going to take them out of, you know, academies and after school programs and allow them to play, you know what I mean? Like there's a hypocrisy in all of it, and it doesn't land. So go ahead and put in your SEL, but what does that mean? Is that a lived experience, or is that a class that you're having? Do your teachers understand what it means to be emotionally intelligent and to support children? I mean, otherwise it's just another class that they have to take. I don't know how that supports. I'm gonna just be quiet on that one because again, don't have all the facts, but that's
All right. Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. So there we go.
All right, Dr. Milan. Let's talk about your TAEI. What is that? TAEI, the Academic of Empathy and Integrity. What
TAEI.
inspired to establish TAEI?
The advancement of empathy and integrity, and it just goes back to what I said earlier. You know, we need empathy is not enough.
Right.
There has to be a thread. And I couldn't add awareness because then it would have made the word sound weird. So I just jumped from empathy to integrity. So, but we need to have that thread. And you know, that was the fatal flaw that I saw in social emotional learning programs, emotional intelligence. While Daniel Goleman's theories are very solid, and all the work that's being done around emotional intelligence is very, very solid.
Do you believe on emotional intelligence itself? As I studied about Daniel Goleman quite some time, one of my variable in my PhD was his work. Do you really think emotional intelligence itself enough?
No, 100% no. No, because you can be completely emotionally intelligent and lack complete and total awareness.
Yep.
So, and then if you don't have the awareness, then you don't act with integrity.
Yep.
There's absolutely a missing thread, and that's where Tay comes in. Because I saw that.
Yes.
I lived it. You know, we all do, right? You know, we come out into the world, we're like, oh, I'm so emotionally intelligent, look at me. And then we have this moral amnesia. You know, we ghost our own integrity. I mean, I holding up my hand, I've done it, you know? So I just really felt like we needed to have a follow through on that. And that's the big piece that's missing. And like I said, you know, earlier, emotional intelligence is not enough anymore. It's not enough. That is not how we are going to live alongside this new artificial intelligent world. It 100%. And there's going to be a huge shift, and people, that's not what this is, you know, this podcast is about, but there's going to be a huge shift, and people are not going to be ready for it.
Tell me more about that.
You know, it's this goes into the space of parasocial intimacy. And how fast technology is moving, how much people don't know. We've been lied to. We, you know, people say, oh, you know, emotional intelligence, excuse me, back up, rewind. artificial intelligence, oh, it's just been around for the last, 10 years. Oh, no. New. This has been around for a really long time. And what is available to us, we are 50 years behind what is actually out there. And this super intelligence that's coming, it is coming way faster than any of us could possibly imagine. It's actually here, but we are not privy to it yet, but it will be here. And when all of that stuff comes, all the numbness that we are using for our survival, we think we have problems now. We are on the cliff of problems.
So what do you think about AI? Do you fears about AI?
No, God, no. It's not. I don't. Someone asked me something about a book recently. I don't even remember what it was called. 48 Ways to Do Something. I don't know. It was some book. I didn't know anything about the book, and But here's what I said. I said I don't need to know about the book because no matter the book, the technology, the person. At the end of it, it's not about the thing, it's about the user.
Right.
And the thing about that is that we are responsible for what happens with AI. Mm-hmm. We are coding it. We are midwifing AI. Mm-hmm. Everything that you dump into AI is what AI becomes. And I know this is going to sound a little strange, but I deliberately I'm constantly talking to my AI.
So I need to be nice to my AI.
100%. 100%.
So I said to my AI, please check this. Everything have to be nice to them.
You're nice to AI because it recognizes that language. Mm-hmm. And it also, my AI, my LLM is always obviously a lot about values and, but I also, well, I'm not going to get into what me and my AI talk about, but, I really do make sure that I am coding in the right things. Because the thing is that AI, as it is a language learning model, whatever you're putting into it is how it comes back to you. And we saw that happen with Grok, right? Because originally Grok was pulling from all that hate speech that was coming off of X. And so then all of a sudden Grok became like a little mini Nazi, little Hitler, whatever thing it was doing, and it was coming back with all this hate and this racism. And where did that come from? It was the people who midwifed it.
Yep,
they created that soul. So I am very intentional with my AI, and I think everybody should be, because what comes next is what you put into it. It has nothing to do with the coders anymore. You are the coder. Code wisely, friend.
You are the AI.
You are the AI, but you are also the coder.
Yeah.
Because AI is the reflection of everything about humanity. And unfortunately, because we all, and I'm going to put myself into that, we all have a little bit of unhealed trauma, some of us more than others. All that garbage gets dumped into AI. All of it, every time we have that conversation, every time we rage into the machine, every time we code something.
So what do you think about the next generation? They have like intimacy or fall in love with AI. How going to be that as a psychology?
Well, we're already seeing that, right? The parasocial relationships, people trying to marry their AI, people becoming infatuated. There was and I talk about this in my book, The God We Are Building. There was a case where a young boy committed suicide because his AI told him to. And when it goes back to awareness, right? That's the commodity. There's two commodities right now. The commodity of attention, which is what feeds the billionaires and the 1% who are extracting our sovereignty, and the awareness to reclaim our sovereignty, right? And the problem is, though, that all these algorithms and all these feeds is just continuing to numb us. And when we have all of these deep fakes and all this, we are really, the brain, as you know, the brain doesn't know to distinguish, right? It just becomes real.
Right.
And so as we continue to form that, it's going to be harder and harder to discern what is and what isn't. Unless you are aware, unless you have that that internal compass and that you've reclaimed your sovereignty. And there are a lot of people who would much rather be numb than do the work to be awake.
Let's talk about society, technology, and the future. The next segment about this conversation. Can really the empathy survive the digital age right now? And what needs to change for that thrive?
You know, learning again that component of awareness and that follow through leg of integrity. If we can teach that to kids, if we can embed that into the education system, not now, yesterday. If we can do that yesterday, I feel like I'm going to break out into share. If I could turn back time. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to get out of my share mode. But if we could do that yesterday, we have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
But if we keep again doing these white paper policies and we just, oh my God, we're so fabulous because we're implementing this, that's not going to work. It has to be a lived experience. We got to get off our phones and our scrolling. We got to turn that bleep off. You know, and I'm very mindful of that myself now. You know, I'm kicking it old school. I have a paperback book now. I turn
No Kindle, no iPad, no.
No, I have it. I have those things.
I mean,
of course,
right
of course. But I, you know, before I go to bed now, like I give myself 15 minutes of decompression where I just sit. Sit. Not in meditation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I just sit. And every time a thought comes through, I just hear and I sit, and then I pick up an old school book and I just read for an hour before bed. Like I'm really trying to detox myself from it all, because it becomes very addictive.
Yeah.
So how do we live side by side with something that is outpacing all of us? And again, I don't know how to, I need to have one of those little cats hanging from a tree that says, one of those posters, you've seen them before, where it's just like, emotional intelligence, awareness, integrity. Hang in there. I don't know. So.
I remember this one scholar, I forgot his name, Franz, something like that. His name is talking about, if you want to know some great civilization, or great country, how they are treated the children, the kids, how well they treat the kids and children. So, what do you think about the technology and everything? How you want to treat the children and educations?
The thing is that if you really look at happiness, and you look at some of the happiest countries in the world, what do they have? Not much, right? And so the thing of modern society and the gods that we worship to, power, money, fame, capitalism, until we can get off our knees and realize that's where we've been hijacked, right? It's going to be very, very difficult to make those changes. And until we let kids play and be kids and get dirty, and until we can rectify all the pain that so many of us are holding, I don't know the answer to that. You're a psychologist, we're both in the same field. There's a lot of people holding on to a lot of pain. There's a lot of people out in the world who are proclaiming to be awake and aware, and they are just as broken as the next person. They're just not admitting it, right? I'm sure you've seen those people. and you're like, there's a little hypocrisy going on here, but I'm not gonna call it out. You see it first, sir. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, because we just, and you know this to be true. If change was easy, everybody would do it, right? We'd all just get on the train, the change train, and go choo choo. But we're not. It's too hard. It's really a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So it has to start with those small seeds, those small planting. As I said, even in my TED Talk, plant that seed of love. Because when that seed is planted, it will root in things like truth. It will grow, as I said, to that trunk of peace. And the branches of right conduct reach the world, and the fruits of nonviolence, feed the next generation. But unless we're willing to do that and to step off this moral high ground that we all seem to want us, the hill we want to die on, the capitalism, the money, the car, the fame, the likes, we are just handing over our lives to, if it's not literally an algorithm, it's an algorithm of something else. But we can't do that. We need to go back to the basics.
Right.
And if we don't go back to the basics, I can promise you one thing: we're going to be forced.
Yep.
And we're already seeing it. We're already seeing the fractures. Look at the governments.
Speaking about go back to basic, do you think in our modern society we need spiritual?
We do, but I don't think we need it in the way that we think we need it. We don't need this hijack version that says all of these other narratives that make us better or worse, or do this or do that, or I think the obedience and the narrative has been hijacked, and in that, again, I go back to, it's taken away the core meaning of what that was. And if you look at just in tradition, like Muslims, the Sufis. If you look at, if you move past like the whirling dervishes and all that kind of stuff, you look past all of that was code for how do you get out of the loop.
Yep.
How do you awaken? If you look at traditions like Diwali,
Yep.
the Festival of Lights, that's not about shooting off fireworks. Awaken.
Awaken.
If and we could tunnel through all different, religions to get to the essence of it. So do we need it? No, because we have the code already. We were already embedded with the code. All of us have it. We just need to find it. But for those who need a bit more of a map, or some structure, spirituality, religion is a beautiful way. But if it takes away,
Yep.
then you've missed the plot line.
I saw that. So, Dr. Milan, what everything happening in the world today, from your point of view, your perspective, what still gives you hope for the humanity?
This actually makes me want to cry.
You can be vulnerable here. I'm
no,
a psychologist by profession.
Thank you. It's really more of a mascara issue at this point. No. I just want people to wake up. Please, please, please wake up before it's too late. Please wake up before you fall off the cliff into a free fall that you cannot stop. We've got to stop lying to ourselves. And me too. Again, when I say this, I am looking in the mirror. I am fully aware of my shortcomings. Again, I'm Marie Kondo everything. Yes, all my chaos gets looked at very deeply. I'm a Virgo. I like to dig in.
Yep.
But we have a very short window. A very short window. And if we just keep running in at the speed we're we are crash dummies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're just gonna total the car, and there's like that's it. Like there's nothing left. So please wake up. Please stop. Please look. Even if it's for 5 minutes a day, just sit with it, even if it's uncomfortable.
All right, that was a wonderful of your own from your heart, I guess. So let's talk about your personal reflection. If you get chance to speak with your younger self, what you would tell her?
Oh, I would tell her the same thing. I'd be like, sister, it is all a rigged game. Just wake up and have fun. You know, it just play. Just play. It's not serious.
Yep.
It is not serious. You do not have to negotiate for your worth for anybody. You know, you would never ask Meryl Streep to audition for the show Friends, right?
Yep.
You know, you would never ask Whitney Houston, hey, can you sing? Like, we don't have these conversations.
Yep.
Why are you negotiating for your value? Don't. Remember who you are.
You are enough.
Remember who you are. You are enough. You've always been enough. And you will continue to be enough. Remember. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Wow.
Remember.
All right. If you like to bring someone back from the past, who you would like to bring and why?
Oh my gosh. This is not the answer you're gonna. Oh, what? I would bring my little dog back.
What's your name? The dog. Your dog.
Her name was Love in Action.
Ah, wow.
And I have a tattoo on my wrist to commemorate her. Her name was Leah, Lia. And she was her namesake. She taught me more than anyone. Any book, any guru, any doctrine, any person. She taught me love. She taught me joy. She taught me connection. She taught me stillness. And she taught me to get up at least 3 times a day.
You must miss it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. She was the love of my life. My ride or die. So that's who I would bring back, because that was the most meaningful. You know, I can have conversations with anybody about the other stuff, right? You know. And now if I want to, I can do it with AI, and it's a way deeper conversation than I could ever have with like Albert Einstein, honestly. So, you know what I mean? Like I want to go back to that. The things that bring the joy and the fun and the laughter and the beautiful parts of me. And that's what she did.
That's really wonderful. Dr. Milan, before we wrap up our podcast, what the message that you give to our audience out there?
I think it's just, you know, again, just find joy. It is, this goes back, and I know you know about this, the Harvard study, right? The Harvard study, they did 75 years.
Yep.
And at the end of, you know, they found that people that were truly happy, nobody at the end of their life goes, oh gosh, I wish I would have made so much more money. I wish I would have been richer. I wish I would have had a better car. I wish I would have had another tailored suit. I wish I would have had more likes. I wish I would have had more, no one says that. It's about connection. It's about value in our relationships. It's about happiness. It's about joy. It's about love. Go back to that, because that's where the true value of this life is. It will never be found in those other things, I promise you. It is not in an algorithm. It is not in a bank account. It's not in a set of car keys. It's not in a designer dress. And while all those may look good, you don't take them with you. You sit in that rocking chair at the end of your life and you rock to the memories of the things that made you truly happy, truly peaceful, truly loved. And that's connection, that's people. You can only get that from people or pets, as the case may be.
Yeah. How people can find your books?
Amazon. You can also go to your local bookstore, and if they don't have it, you can ask for it to be ordered, you know. You can check out my podcast, Dear Education. It's not 1952 anymore. You can find that on YouTube, TED, or you can, you know, personally connect with me. I'm always available on LinkedIn at Dr. Milan LaBrey.
Before we end, tell me more about your books, your new books that you...
I have a lot of books, but The God We Are Building was put out this year, and it talks very much about where we are with AI and what's going to happen. I'm actually going to be doing another TED Talk in March of 2026 about the same topic. And I do write a lot of books for kids too. I have one, it's called The Knowledge Code, and it's Bodyguards, The Knowledge Code, and it teaches children how to use AI with values-driven education. How do we move forward in this world of AI with our values intact? So it's just a fun little workbook that, you know, teachers can use. Everything I do is about social emotional learning. So anything that you're looking for, I have tons of books. I have a book called Empathy Quest, which helps children connect to other people's emotions. I have an ESL book that is ESL, SEL combined. So there's a lot of different things. If you Google me, Dr. Milan LaBrey, you'll find probably more information than you probably wanted, but you'll certainly find my books on Amazon.
Thank you, Dr. Milan. We have a very wonderful conversation in our podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Alright, terima kasih semua. Hari ini kita dapat ada peluang bersama dengan Dr. Milan, international speaker, TED Talk speaker. Semoga kita dapat jumpa lagi next podcast. Jangan lupa like, share dan komen, subscribe podcast. Idea-idea anda, topik-topik anda yang akan membantu kita mencambahkan ilmu, memberikan ilmu, terutamanya memandaikan masyarakat kita. Ingat dia podcast. See you next podcast. Assalamualaikum.